All right, you are now tuned into the Rotated Views podcast. I am your host, Jimmylee Velez. I'm here with Gabe, Goose, Joey, and Carlo. Invest 360. In this episode, we have special guests Carlo Vitale and Joey Domenic. We cover topics that range from small business ownership, coronavirus impact, goal setting, business collaborations, and much more. We wrap the episode up with quotes from Helen Keller and Charles Swindoll. Guys, if you're new, thank you for joining us. Don't forget to download and subscribe. We drop a new episode every Tuesday morning for your listening pleasure. Gentlemen, Joey and Carlo, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I mean, the format is wild right now. We are on the application called Zoom, which is a lot of people within the last 2 or 3 weeks have become very familiar with. If you already haven't, known what this application does. So we are reaching out. So everyone's in their own location, in their house, their offices, their living rooms, their bathrooms, whatever. And you join, you set up a link, you join, and you kind of it's like a little video conference. So it is how we're going to be doing our podcast for the next several weeks. So bear with us. We did mention in the last podcast that the audio might not be 1,000% as we would like it. But again, we're working with what we have. That's what hustlers do. Anyway, with that being said, Joey and Carlo, whoever wants to start first, let us know who you are and what you do.
All right, I'll start it up. My name's Carlo Vitale of Vitale Inspection Services. I'm the owner. We're based out of Robbinsville, New Jersey, and we do home inspections. We do everything from residential, commercial, radon testing, termite inspections, underground oil tank searches, sewer line inspections, invasive stucco inspections, thermal imaging. We try to cover it all and be that one-stop shop. It's myself. I got 6 awesome inspectors, two great office personnel answer the phones, doing everything from emails to scheduling to just being that person behind the scenes to making sure everything runs nice and smooth. I have great marketing people, Joey being one of them. That's on top of my A game, trying to push me out there as much as I can. And then I have a great person that's out there in the field marketing as well. So we're just out there hustling and taking care of realtors and clients, buyers, sellers, and making sure the sale runs nice and smooth.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
We'll get more into details with everything that you do. So Joey, you've been on our show several times, but for those of us who didn't get a chance to hear any of those episodes, let them know who you are, what you do.
I am Joey. I'm the owner of Dolce Vita Media. I have a marketing and media company in which I do social media content creation, promotion, and so forth. I'm also a full-time IT professional. Other than that, I'm just a guy who's out here doing what he can to help and however I can. Family man, husband, father.
Everything. I like it. Damn. All right, cool. So Vitale, can you explain a little bit how you got into the inspections and how that all became a thing for you? And then we'll move into, the Invest 360.
Yeah, absolutely. So inspections has always been part of my life in a sense. I grew up in the construction business. My dad has been in construction his whole life. He's a builder, and old school, hard-headed Italian mentality. You're 10, 12, 11, whatever years old, and you're going to work, working hard. He's now, 65, 66 years old, and still busting his butt, doing that thing. And I worked with him for a long time. While working with him, kind of grew apart a little bit from the construction business and tried to multitask and do different things. And I found myself kind of doing more inspecting and overseeing some things more than the construction field. So I home inspection just kind of fell in my lap. I grew up in North Central Jersey in Woodbridge. And as I met my wife and I kind of moved down to the Mercer County area. So I was kind of away from the construction. And when I moved down to this area, I didn't know anybody. I didn't know what I was going to do down in this area. So I said, you know what, let's just go full force and let's start the business. So 2011, I started the home inspection, and I really haven't haven't looked back. I just got out there, started, grinding the pavement, just hitting it hard, trying to get out there as much as I can, meeting new people. A couple people gave me a couple good shots. A couple good people gave me some good business, and I just took it from there and just ran with it. And the word just got spread out there that I was doing a good job, and I just started building up from there. So I just kind of got started on a whim, like a lot of things, and I took my opportunities and ran with them, and just kind of never looked back.
I love it. So again, before we talk about the connection there with where Joe comes in, what's your advice for? I mean, I think you already nailed it on the head with, never looking back, but just starting something. Kind of, obviously you have, help from, the knowledge and maybe mentorship from your father, but just starting on your own and just getting after it. And again, as you said, not looking back. I mean, what kind of advice do you have anyone for, who's looking to get started in something like that?
I think you gotta really find something that if you're getting started in something, just make sure that you're gonna enjoy it, right?
Yeah.
Make sure that's something that you want to do. You're gonna it might not be something you want to do at first, and something else might come from it. But I think the one piece of advice I could say is just try. Just get out there, try, just do it, and then whatever comes from it, because you're gonna learn from it, and it might be good, it might be bad. You're gonna fail, right? So just try it, do it, and then see where it goes. And then something's gonna stick, and you're gonna run. You just got to make sure when that sticks, that's when you run with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Goose, I want to give you the same question, right? I mean, you kind of did the same thing. You had knowledge from being a barber and running a shop to just renting your own spot and just literally never looking back. What kind of advice you have?
I don't know, pretty much the same thing like what Carlos said. It's like once you get the opportunity and you start moving forward, you get the opportunity, so you make that first step. Once you make that first step, that's it. You can't backstep. You gotta try to go forward, but always leave off on good terms or wherever you're leaving, just in case something does fail and you don't it doesn't pan out to be what you thought it would be. But yeah, once you start and you get the gist of things, and obviously if you're gonna start on your own, you probably already, in a sense, when you were working for someone or whatever, you pretty much mastered it in a way where you feel comfortable enough to kind of go on your own and take it to the next level. But yeah, once you get started, there's no turn back. Just keep going, and it can just grow and get bigger and just keep going from there. But yeah, just that's it really. There's no turning back. That's actually for me anyway at this point. Just make it work. You just find every which way to make it work no matter what. You know what I mean? Especially we're supposed to be shut down for a month. By the time this is all over, it's a month and 2 weeks.
All right, Vitale, if someone wants to reach out to you specifically for the Vitale inspections, do you have a website? Do you have a phone number or anything they could reach out to you directly for?
Sure. Yeah, you can reach me. You can reach us on vitalieinspection.com. You can reach us at 609-751-8048. You can also reach us on Facebook. We try to push our presence on Facebook and Instagram and also on LinkedIn. So you can reach us on all those platforms as well. Thank you, Joe.
Awesome. So perfect transition. So had this whole thing happen, using Dolce Vita Media as a connection, and we'll talk there first, and then we'll move on to other topics.
Well, Carlo and I met through a fundraiser we were both working on, which was also plugged on Blessed and Rotated Views. We were with Kim D and Mike Mamula for the fundraiser for the cancer benefit, which sold out. Carlo was one of the big sponsors for that as well, and we were working together on that. And I guess we had a little nonchalant conversation, and through a conversation between him and Stacy Barbati, who also does marketing for him, we got into talking about how I could help his business, and it just went from there. We took his format of his business and made positive posts. Turns out Carlo and I are all about the same things you're about, Jimmylee, which is positive, motivating, upbuilding, community, and just keeping things solid and like, like trying to build people instead of breaking them down. And, it kind of grew into a good friendship between Carlo and I as well. Like him and most of my clients, it's more like friendship and family than it is actual business. I mean, obviously business is important, but we all have an understanding of how we're doing things, and it's kind of cool to have that closeness involved as well. So, and that translated into working on other projects, which we'll get into.
Yeah, absolutely. So speaking of other projects, one of them is Invest 360. So can you guys talk about either how that got started and how it came about?
So we all in this room, I think with the exception of Gabe, but we have kids. So our kids are in extracurricular activities like dance and everything. At some point or another, I decided to sign up for DoorDash because, while the kids are at dance, I'd rather go make money.
Yeah.
So one night I'm driving through on one of my deliveries and I'm going through Trenton and I'm seeing boarded up houses. I'm riding through Hamilton. I'm seeing boarded up houses. I'm like, just think about how these things can come back on the tax rolls and be, economic development spurred and just so like, and everything is data driven now. So I'm like, okay. Just then, as I'm thinking that, this advertisement comes on the radio, and it's Van whatever from Flip This House. He's talking about join my event, and I'll teach you how to flip these houses. And then like that stupid voiceover, like, yeah, come to the hotel, meet Van. But then I'm thinking like, what a crock of crap. I'm sure he ripped off a bunch of people doing this. And I'm like, how cool would it be if there was an event that you could actually teach people what it's really about, teach them how to flip houses in the community, make investment properties, and so forth. And let's go from there. Let's teach them. Let's get some real community people to talk about this and educate people the right way. And I came to Carlo and I was like, you know what? For all the fundraisers and stuff we do, you should probably think about starting a nonprofit. And he told me, he goes, I already have one. And so we're like, okay, well, I got an idea. And Invest 360 happened.
Yeah.
Wow. So, all right. So, Carlos, so how about you talk about your nonprofit then? So how did that?
So so just like Joe said, he came to me, told me about, his whole story driving around, and, it was really, really inspirational just how he came about the whole event that we were going to do. And he mentioned the nonprofit. So a nonprofit that I started probably about 5 or 6 years ago, myself and one of my cousins, Carlo Vitale, group of big imagination in the family here.
Right.
So we started this nonprofit called Happy Smiles. Happy Smiles, it's a revolutionary way of kindness, a different way of kindness, and kind of it was more for just the less fortunate. We started giving out coats. One of my cousins, Carlo, he works in New York City a lot. He does raps on the stairs in the train stations and things of that nature. So he sees a lot of homeless. He sees a lot of less fortunate. So we did a lot of giveaway of coats. We did a lot of blankets. We did a lot of gloves, socks. So did a lot of that stuff. So that's kind of how we got started with Happy Smiles. We never really went full blown on it, and we kind of just did things on our own and on the back end, and it was just our own thing. We just did it when we could do it. Went out, gave food, did whatever we could. So I never really made it anything until now, until Joey kind of came up with this idea, and we kind of said, you know what, let's use let's do Happy Smiles, and let's bring this thing to the forefront and put Invest 360 to the forefront and make everything happen, make it full circle, right, Joe?
That's what it's about.
All right.
So explain the name a little bit. Invest 360. How'd that come about?
So, like a 360, everything comes full circle. So you start teaching people, like it all goes like, how the whole saying, like, it takes a village to raise a child.
Yeah.
And, that whole thing is like, you're bringing your child to the forefront. You're teaching them things. You're like, I'm not saying everyone's our children. We're not, creating a cult here, but like what we're doing is we're trying to cultivate the ideas. We're trying to plant the seeds of letting people know this is what you do. These are the options available. This is the community, like that community partnerships that are involved. This is government agencies you can go to. These are like the nonprofits that will help. This is someone doing it right here. So we kind of bring all that together, and when it all said and done is people start investing in their community, economic development starts spurring, your community starts growing, and what happens then? Opportunities come. Now you can start cultivating in those opportunities. You're able to bring opportunities to other people, and it just keeps repetitive in a cycle. So it's just a nonstop 360, and just like everything starts rolling in at that point.
No, that makes sense. So is it a membership? How can people get involved? Or what is it is there levels to it, or how does that all work?
Well, our first event was supposed to happen on May 5th. On Cinco de Mayo, we're supposed to have a live event. Obviously we talked to you about being the keynote speaker, which we still want to have. But the thing is, it's not a membership, so to speak. What it was is going to be a one-day event where people can come. You'll see our panelists. We're going to have a networking session where people can network with each other, full of mortgage brokers, different people in the community, businesses, trades. So the idea of the first event was to first bring all these people in the same room together, allow them to network, then have the panelists that are from different parts of investing, real estate, government agencies, the county, economic development corporations, to talk about how they can help each other. One of them actually started a whole B&B business. One of them is a claims adjuster. And, just ways of saying, okay, here's what, flipping houses really is. One of the panels was going to be called, what's my overhead, or am I over my head? So these are things that watching Flip This House, or trading properties, or all those reality TV shows. This is not the stuff they really tell you.
Right.
We wanted people to see that, understand it, take it in, and and if anything, build a team right there. And if we can have had one or more teams, we're a success. But this thing was not supposed to be just like this, inner community of a chamber, so to speak. But this was going to be the first domino in a set of other events to happen. One that may have focused on education next. One that may have focused on bringing other things to the table. You have an idea that you think we could start impacting on. Let's bring it. What this really is about is community, and building the communities that we're involved in and we do business with, and that we thrive, and that it's all about, like I said, it's all about community.
And like you said, Joe, if I could chime in real quick, is it's about making everybody thrive. So like you said, bringing the community together, bringing all the businesses together, and showing each other how the reality of it all is, and how it's not all just a TV show, what it actually takes to do it.
Yeah, no, I think the concept's awesome.
Yeah.
And I think it's important that you say thrive, right? Because a lot of times, like these TV shows, it's just the one person, sitting at the top. And like you say, they don't really unveil their secrets, so to speak. It just cuts to a commercial. You don't really see the behind the scenes. And then it cuts back to the show, and it's like, oh, they sold the house, made $60,000 in profit, and X, Y, and Z. The reason why what attracted me so much was just the opportunity for people just getting started, possibly in investing in properties, or whatever they're trying to do. They'll have people like Vitale there who has the know-how, and then Joe with the marketing, and then other professionals who are successful in their arena, and you can tap into that source, right? I know a guy who has so many projects under his belt that he legitimately gives basically bids to his brothers or his cousins or whatever who all do the same thing, right? And it would be kind of something like that where even if it's like, all right, so I need an inspector, but my guy's totally booked. Let's go to Invest 360. They'll have somebody there who obviously is a great representation, and it's a respectful, or a person that we respect who does business the good way. And that's kind of, it's almost like the real life version of like the Angie's List, where she's highly recommends X, Y, and Z. These are highly recommended people in the area that are there who are actually doing the work. It's not some weirdo pitching you something, right? These guys are actually out there in the field. They're successful in what they do, and they're right there, right at this event. They're right there, and you can make connections with them. Is that kind of what it is?
That's exactly what it is. But I'd like to touch a little bit on what you said, because something you said kind of stuck out. So as we're pitching this idea to possible panelists and our keynote speaker, who just basically is you, and you just said what brought you and what you liked about it. So one of the people that we brought up, I'm not going to say where from, but he came up when I brought this idea to him. He was like, you know what, this is completely awesome. I'm in. I'm in very much. And I want to tell you why. I was one of those people who got robbed by one of those big things like those hotel conferences. He was like, I thought this was a great idea. He goes, I went in, I put this money down thinking it was going to, he goes, it went nowhere. And I felt like I was literally taken advantage of.
Yeah.
He's like, so if I could help other people that were in my position, like, then that would be great. And that kind of brought me to something I saw today. One of my friends posted on Facebook. He was like, what if you can change that one thing that went wrong?
Mm.
And I thought about that for a minute. I was like, and I actually like texted him because I didn't want to put that on his Facebook, but I was like, you made me feel like I was Ashton Kutcher in Butterfly Effect for a second. It's like, like there's so many things like in so many lives, like you want to put on the cape and you want to be everyone's superhero, but like you don't know everyone's struggle, what they're going through, but just to think that you could probably be the caveat to not make someone go down that road.
I love it. What's crazy is, and so these events create what is called a mastermind, right? There's a belief by a gentleman by the name of Napoleon Hill, who did research on all the most successful people about 100 years ago. And one of the things that they all had in common was that they would meet up regularly with basically people who would fill their weakness, right? So if I'm really good in construction and I made a ton of money, but I didn't know how to invest, one of my best friends would be a very successful investor. Okay. If I was really good at investing, but didn't know how to build a house, we would flip, right? I'd build your house for you. And you kind of go like that. And when they would get together, it'd be a group of two or more. It would create almost like this third or fifth brain that would kind of hover. And what happens in events is that when me and you were talking, a third person comes in, all of a sudden it kind of takes its own form and people start feeding off the energy. And what is special in an event is the unforeseen, the other things that manifest from it unknowingly, right? We're there to make connections. We're there to, deliver information, useful information that people can actually apply, and not selling people and upselling people. But wait, there's something else. If you buy X, Y, and Z, you can also win a trip to California, whatever. It's insanity, right? But if you get a bunch of people with good hearts, there's something else that's created. And Goose, I want you to actually speak on this. You had an event at your barbershop where really it was just, the whole point was kind of to just get a bunch of barbers in the same area. But speak on a little bit about what else that created. There was a bigger camaraderie. There was a sense of pride. There was people making connections that they didn't even know. Like, for example, I would go there for Vitale. I'm like, dude, I need your expertise on inspections, right? And then I would leave there though with some other guy who was really good, really good mechanic or X, Y, and Z, right? So you go there expecting one thing, and you leave with so much more. Goose?
Yeah, no. So it was like a barber social. So it's like we just kind of try to put, there's in this Bucks County area, there's like a lot of barbershops, a lot of barbers. It's huge. So I try to put, me and 3 other barbers try to put something together where everyone kind of come together and just like kind of hang out instead of like, oh, he's my competitor. He works at this shop. He's not, we don't talk to him. I was trying to like bring everyone like together, and through the magic of social media, we put it on blast. So we had barbers that came from like Connecticut to Bristol Borough, like our little town, from Connecticut, Ohio, like DC. So we had all these barbers, but these guys that came from far away, they actually like cut like celebrities. Like they're like Jalen Rose's barber came and hung out. And the local barbers, actually, the ones that actually did come to support me, they actually got to meet their idol barber. Like and they got a chance to talk to these guys. And like, oh my God, look, I see you on social media, but I look up to you. I like your style or whatever. And then there's other barbers that like, they lack in like scissor work. The one barber, Shawn Michaels, like in the area, he's like one of the best scissor cutters like in the area. So like people got a chance to talk to him. And then there's barbers like I had chairs. They were just showcasing. They just like, yo, I brought my tools. You want me to cut you up? And it was just like, it became like this cool, like it was, I don't know, it's like a positive vibe on something that I just kind of wanted just to bring everyone together. And it was like, I just had to open up like the newer shop, my newer space. So I kind of wanted to introduce everyone to my new shop and like what was going on. And it was like it turned out way bigger than what I thought it would be. And it was like the coolest things. And that was like 2 years ago. And to this day, people still talk about it. When you're going to have your next one? But it was like people got a chance to talk to people face to face that they would have never had a chance to. And yeah, just like something small like that just became like this like big thing, like in the barber industry in our local town, like in our area, which was like the coolest thing. Like I got to see people that like barbers that I look up to. Actually, 2 of them came from Miami, Florida. Like you have more power than what you think, and it's you have to put your heart and soul into it, and then just like social media carries it on. Like you just put it out there on those platforms, and then people are like, yo, I want to go there. Oh, I was going to go visit my family anyway. I'm in that. Oh, that's the same weekend I'm going to be around. And it just magically works. But yeah, it became like I was turning into like a local thing, and it became like almost like an East Coast thing, which was like, it was pretty dope. But yeah, like Jim was there, like, and he saw it happen. He saw it happen and watch it unravel. I'm like, dude, I kept going outside. I'm like, dude, I can't believe this. There's like people from all over the place like coming in. It was
That's
like the
pretty
craziest.
awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty dope. And my shop isn't that big. We probably had close to like 80 to 100 barbers in there. Like people were like crammed up in there. Like it was like, but obviously it was raining too. But it was like the most like I don't know, for me, like humbling experience. Like you just I just want to work something small and kind of just keep like the love. Like there's no like my neighboring barbers. Like I don't have competition with you. We're all doing this together. We're in the same industry. Like you have your people, I have my people. You have your style, I have my style. Let's just hang out together, you know. And then it became something way bigger than what I expected.
The under promise, over deliver, right?
Yeah.
And it just happens naturally. That was the beautiful thing about that. But Joe, I mean, I remember our conversation when you were talking about, Happy Smiles and Invest 360, and our conversation went a whole about 3 minutes and 37 seconds, and I already gave you my response, like, yeah, count me in, blah, blah, blah. At first I didn't know what was, because Joe's a man with a ton of ideas, so I was trying to get a grasp of what was going on, and then we're kind of catching up in the beginning. But once he explained it, I mean, literally under 5 minutes, I was, all in. And the thing with events like 360 or Invest 360 is that it's coming from 2 guys, especially Vitale. It's coming from a good spot, right? It's coming from a clear head. It's not coming from these complete savages out there trying to just make a dime off, and they're just preying on the weak, where he had something already established for 5 years, right? So Happy Smiles is something that's already established, and it's coming from a good place to help people. Think about that. When you come to a future Invest 360 event, you're going to come to somewhere where the intentions they mean good, right? They mean well. They're coming from a good spot. These guys are out here trying to help other people, right? They didn't charge any. Like the best part was I was promoting the dirt. I have my own marketing strategies, and my initial ones just going through my basic, my basic supporters. I know that they got my back no matter what, and I was explaining it, and everyone was just signing up like the second I was saying it. And the first question was like, well, how much? I'm like, this is our first event, right? Like, there's no coverage at this point. Let's just get there. Let's pack the house out. Because Joe, and you could speak on this, in our conversation, I said basically this is going to be a launch pad for future events. What the future holds, I have no idea. But the first event, there wasn't going to be any charge because you got to kind of get a hold of what's going on. Plus, if the thing's a complete flop at the end of the day, you could say we didn't charge you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I can co-sign on that just because of the fact that, there were just our conversation was so much energy, but the whole thing, the positivity was going back and forth. Like, I think we had 3 other ideas just in that one conversation of where it could go. But, I think, the other thing is I'm glad that you pointed out, the first event was free. It is free. And now it's definitely free because it's going to be on Zoom. But we're just happy with the amount of and I'm guessing Carlo, because he's had his conversations with people who are interested too. The amount of positive feedback we've gotten from people has just been outright amazing. It's from the people I asked for to be panelists, some of the sponsors. Carlo, you could even go on some of the conversations you've had with people.
The one thing that I've always had, Jimmy, like you said, when Joey was talking to you, the first couple minutes that I started explaining to somebody about what we were doing and the whole concept behind it, people jumped right on top of it, and they were all about it because it's coming from a good place. And I think a lot of people out there are good people, right? And they want to help other people. So I think that's where it's coming from. And I think we're putting, Miguel, you said it too. You said you have more power than you think. And I think maybe that's what we're putting out there. We're giving people the opportunity to help other people, whereas other people are wanting to take all the show. They want to take everything, whereas we're giving all these other people the opportunity to help everybody else, and all being on the equal playing field as well.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So this whole thing, for anyone that's listening right now, so this whole thing's going to happen via Zoom. More details to come, exactly what the breakdown is going to be.
Right.
But even if it could physically happen, just imagine this is the first event. You can say, I went to the first Invest 360 event. I remember when the speaker fell. I remember when he slipped off stage. I remember and then all of a sudden, just fast forward, 3 to 5 years from now, where we're having these massive events that are truly impacting the masses, right? And there probably will be, a Zoom version of it that is something else. But what I wanted to get out there is listen, it's a free event. Just log on to your computer May 5th or whatever the details will come out to be. Just join, see what it's all about, and you'll see that it's actually a group of guys that are truly trying to help people. It's enough of the other guys, like I said, predators out there trying to take advantage. This is something that they're showing you from clearly from the depths of their heart. Everyone's been there. We've all taken losses. We went through I had a small speaking engagement, and I wanted to put together how many small businesses that I actually started, thought that they were going to launch and be this incredible thing. And it was up there until 22 or 23. Things that I started and came to be absolutely nothing. But that's the message. That's my message. That's my message that I want to get out there is regardless of what you start and it fails or whatever it is, and it just doesn't look good, that there's always hope. There's always tomorrow. And all these guys that are going to be there are going to help you skip so many steps and save you so many headaches. You definitely do not want to miss the Invest 360 event. And Joe, can you confirm, is it going to still be May 5th?
All right, so the way we're looking at it now, we haven't got the ground laid out completely yet, but what we want to do is, and Carlo can confirm with this, is what we're going to do is do maybe about 1 or 2 panelists a night if we can, maybe for about a week straight, or maybe we'll do 2 a week just because we we haven't got that part. We're gonna schedule that out, but we want to have at least 2 panelists on a night that we like do it and just have it, I guess, progress on for as long as we're COVIDed, quarantined, and just so we can get the information out there. If and when that we are able to, all be in a place at the same time again sometime soon, hopefully, we'll have to reschedule that when it comes. But am I right? Am I right on that, Carlo?
I think you're exactly right. We're just planning on having everybody on maybe 2 people a week or every day, every other day, just to give everybody a little taste of what we're doing and give everybody opportunity to see who the people are going to be there, and hopefully we have some great questions for them. And then when it actually happens, we'll already have hopefully a little bit of a following.
Yeah, I think it's great because I just picture it something like obviously something on Zoom. Zoom has recorded the communication is recorded, so whenever it is we can meet back up, even if it's in the fall. At least it's almost like a teaser of what you'll get at the live event. So if you look at it that way, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday there'll be speakers on those 3 nights, or whatever, Monday through Friday. Those will be the guys or the females that'll be there at the live event, but you kind of get a better understanding on what to expect. I think we're kind of rolling with the punches. The coronavirus is something that came out of nowhere, and we're just doing what we're supposed to do. We're taking precautionary measures. This is not something that's ideal, but it is what it is, and hence the reason why we're having our podcast via Zoom. I mean, you got to adjust with the times. But speaking of that, can Vitale, can you speak a little bit about? I know Goose talked a little bit about how this affected his business. How has the coronavirus affected you and your business?
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's affecting us in the sense of our work, right? So we're still out there. We're considered essential to the real estate transaction. So we're still out there doing our thing. We're still doing our business, but it's changed it dramatically. We've always wanted our buyers to be there walking through with us at the inspection, so they can see what we see. We can go through the inspection. They can ask questions as we're going through. Now we can't have them at the inspection. So we're requesting not to be at the inspection. We're doing FaceTime calls now. At the end of the inspection, we're walking them through FaceTime. We're doing Zoom. We're showing them everything that way. We walk into the house, washing our hands, booties. Everything we touch is getting washed down, clean, sanitized at the end of the inspection while we're walking through. Wearing our masks. It's just a lot different. And I think it's going to be like this for a long time. I think it's going to change the way we do business. I think it's going to change the way a lot of people do business in different kinds of industries. The one big thing that's also changed is real estate agents. They no longer come to the inspections as well. So we're kind of on our own in the inspection. But at the same time, you still have the sellers at the inspection. You have people that are living there. So they feel kind of displaced because now they have to quarantine themselves in a room while we're doing our inspections. So it kind of puts everybody out, and it's an uneasy feeling when you're in the house now, and hopefully it's going to go back to the normal soon, because people really need to know about their houses. What we do is an education, and that's why we want the buyers to be there, so they can become educated about their house and not just get into a house and not know what's going on.
I love it. All right, so let's switch gears really quick. Joe, how about you when you talk a little bit about Dolce Vita Media and collaborating with Vitale? Can you explain how you utilize social media for marketing?
Well, I mean, we do it a bunch of ways, like going with themes, going with time, going with like a bunch of different strategies. So with Vitale, with no matter who it is, you kind of have to roll with what you have. I was on a phone call today, actually, someone who is actually very affected by the coronavirus and his business. His wife got laid off. He's on his last leg of clients right now. This is it. Like he actually just got denied for a loan, to a business loan. And he was just like, I've never, he goes, before this whole thing happened, I've never, like, he goes, I've never been denied for anything. He goes, I don't understand why. He was like, I don't know if people are scared to lend right now. He's like, but he goes, I need your help. And he asked me about a potential client that he was about to have. And he was like, because I think you're the only one who could tell me how to do this. Now, if I was that guy who, you know, was a predator, as you said, I could have told him, oh, sure, tell me the name of the client. And I could have just stole that client from him.
Right.
Instead, like, because this isn't his pot of tea. This isn't his thing. Like, his thing is something different. Of course, both of our kind of talents kind of can merge into one another. But he was like, how do I get this off the ground? You're the only person I can call about this. So I said, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to go look in the mirror. And I was like, do you have a mirror around? And he was like, yeah. And he goes, let me go to the, you know, so he goes and looks into the mirror. I go, I want you to look in the mirror. He goes, I was like, now this company, they do this, that, and the third. I was like, look in the mirror. Are you this person? He was like, yeah. I was like, are you this person? Yeah. It was like, are you this person? I was like, how is coronavirus affecting you? And he was like, well, I was like, okay. I was like, well, there's your pitch. And like, I was like, that's what it is sometimes. Sometimes you have to bring yourself into it. I was like, sometimes what you're looking to do is your own reflection. I was like, what you're feeling is probably what a bunch of other people are feeling, and that's the target audience you're trying to go to. You have to do something that connects with people, and that's what social media really is. I was like, you're out there connecting with people who are dealing with some of these, and you have to be able to connect with your target audience. So it's finding that common denominator and making it happen. With Carlo and his business, I'm able to connect with people, whether it's real estate agents or people who love that positive message. But other than like, it's just like social media is all about connecting with your target audience. I mean, even the Blessed Lifestyle brand, look how that took off for you guys. I mean, we're talking with the Bucks County 2 years in a row. 2 years, baby.
Congratulations. Awesome.
So, like, it's connecting with the people who, like, you know, who are all about it. Hustle, gratitude, faith, like that. I love that. So,
yeah, no, for sure. All right, so outside of this, I know the coronavirus is like crushing everyone right now. What's the 2020 vision, coronavirus or not, for Invest 360?
Go ahead, Joe. You can take that.
I want this to help people. I want this to help the community. I want this to, like, you know, to bring success to many people. Like I said, as long as it goes 360, it's a success. If we hear that there's some success stories from coming out of that where people form teams just being there, that's awesome. If people benefited from being at this event, that's awesome. I think that's the important part. 2020, Invest 360, or Happy Smiles. We're going to make things happen, and we're going to make things happen for people who deserve it.
Perfect.
I think one of our goals for 2020 for Invest 360 is obviously have our first Zoom or not meet event and see who we could bring together and what relationships we can make. And this is a great one right now. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, definitely. No, absolutely. I'm excited. I'm excited for you guys. I'm excited for Invest 360. I'm excited for Happy Smiles. This is some good stuff. So no, thank you for, you know, thinking of us, and we will make this happen some way or somehow. You know what I mean? All right, Vitale. Future plans for Vitale Inspections with all this is going on. You said it. You pretty much believe that the way the coronavirus has affected everyone, it will change the way you operate, literally. So what do you think the future is going to look like?
I think future for us is going to be a lot of education for our realtors, a lot of education for the attorneys, for the home inspectors. It's just going to be a whole different way of doing business and making sure people understand what we're doing out there and how we're doing it. It's going to be a lot more detail driven now, I think, and because if buyers can't be there. I think we're going to have to be much more detailed in our reports. So the reporting software is going to be a lot different. So I think there's going to be a lot of work that goes into this inspection industry. I think there's gonna be some people that aren't going to be able to handle it, like everything, right?
Sure.
But I think it's going to be more education. I think a lot of people are going to have to really dig into the details and really go from there.
I love it. Awesome. So Joe, and I'm glad that you brought that up, because our episode from last week titled "The New Norm," we were talking about, hopefully out of all of this, if you strip the negativity out of it, that people are becoming more healthier, right? They're taking their vitamins out of nowhere they never did before. They're communicating with their neighbors more than ever, and the family members just checking up on you. Are you doing good? Do you need anything? They're being smarter, way more wiser with their finances. They're, being hesitant before they swipe that card, because now you're saying, is this a luxury or is this a need? Because it seems like everyone's kind of on survival mode at this point. So the way we operate is totally different. But one of the big things is communication. If we communicate effectively and efficiently, we will get through this in a much different way, but a successful way. And I believe, I'm right there with you. I totally believe that. It totally changed the game forever. And it depends on who you are and how you adapt, which will determine your results and what your future is pretty much going to look like. If you're able to adapt and make moves, and might not be comfortable, and it might not be what you thought it was going to look like, but you're still moving with the times, I think those adjustments will serve you well. If you're going to go against the grain and kind of fight this thing, go in the opposite direction, I'm not so sure. But I do think communication is key for that. And, thank you for pointing that out. Joe, what about Dolce Vita Media? What are the future plans there? You're crushing it, man.
I kind of I want to see where this goes and how this goes. I'm all about, like I said, just rolling and adapting. I kind of like where I am now with the clients I have.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, because of this, I've had a couple that have had to scale back right now, but I like the position that I'm in. I don't like the situation we're in. I like the position I'm in with Dolce Vita, but I would like to see where I can take this next. But when it comes, you gotta, strike while the iron's hot and see where it goes from there. I kind of just want to play this, smooth and see what COVID does and where we take it. I guarantee there's going to be a lot of social media market content creators coming out of COVID, because everyone's home right now, and there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be studying up on how to do this.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So. Very cool. All right, we'd like to ask this question to all our guests, and Vitale, I want to ask you specifically. I know you have a family. And so how do you manage the work-life balance? How does that work for you, or what does that look like for you?
I think you hit it on the head before, communication.
Yeah.
I think, that's full surf 360, right? It's you got to do it at home. You got to do it at work. I think that's one key is what I bring home is communicating with my family, my kids, and being able to do that on a daily basis and making sure our feelings are brought to the forefront, and we know how we're all feeling. We know how we stand in our part in our family. And whether that's, with my mom, my dad, my siblings, just my immediate family, we just want to make sure that we all know that we're on the same page. And if we're not, we want to make sure we know that as well.
Awesome. Perfectly well said. Joe, if anyone wants to check out a little bit more information on Happy Smiles or Invest 360, where should they go?
As of right now, we can go to the Facebook page, the Invest 360 Facebook, and the event page. We'll be putting more information as it comes. and we'll go from there. We'll definitely be utilizing Facebook and Instagram, and making it happen.
And there's
Awesome.
the Happy Smiles Facebook page as well that you can check out. Yep.
So you got on Facebook, both Happy Smiles and Invest 360. Perfect. All right, so we like to close things out with quotes, and the first one is by Helen Keller. Optimism is the faith that leads to achievement. Nothing can be done without hope and confidence. The second one by Charles Swindoll. Life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you react. Kind of what we're talking about, guys. It's how we react to this whole situation is going to, give our results. So there you have it, Invest 360. In this episode, we have special guests Carlo Vitale and Joey Domenic. We cover topics that range from small business ownership, coronavirus impact, goal setting, business collaboration, and much more. We wrap the episode up with quotes from Helen Keller and Charles Swindoll.
Awesome. Guys, thanks again for joining us. The Rotated Views podcast was produced for self-development purposes. Huge shout out to our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by the Blessed Lifestyle brand. That is BL3SSED.com. Also sponsored by The Motivation Files Unleashed. This motivational mixtape will be your fuel for success. Available on all platforms. Guys, don't forget to visit the website, JimmyLeeVelez.com. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Rotated Views. If you have any inquiries or questions, email us at info@JimmyLeeVelez.com. On behalf of myself and the rest of the crew, we wish you massive success. Stay blessed.